Hey, Tony from BikeBerry here. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to swap the V1 100cc engine for the V2 100cc engine on the F-Zero. Now, why I'm out here is because from my mailbox down this road is about 77 yards is kind of my, before it gets up a hill, my starting point, okay? So I take a fresh engine, I usually ride it up and back, and by the second time, I've been able to get it to fire off. By that time, it's had enough gas and everything going through it that it wants to fire up and I can ride to the end. So that's exactly what happened. So you'll see the next footage will be me on the bed of my truck, pulling one engine off, popping another engine on, then it'll be jump on the bike right here, turn on the gas, pedal a couple of times up and down, up that way, back this way, then we fire off and we go clear to the end. So it really ran great. It really didn't force stroke or anything like that. The reed really acted well. I love it. I think it's going to be a really great base engine for everybody who wants to mod an engine. You'll be able to go to town on it, and especially as we build out high performance parts for it, because it's more high performance ready than the previous one. So without further ado, let's roll. So you can see I have the V1 engine on here. It's been on here a while. I have the HP carb on. I'm just undoing the brackets because the previous brackets work with the new engine. So it's all the same. It should just bolt right in without a problem. The carburetor was pretty set on here. Worked really well. So I'm just going to stick it back on because I know that it'll function right out of the box. I don't have to adjust it. Yeah, other than that, I just bolted on the same thing that I had before. Everything lined right up. It was real easy. You could tell that this has 4 studs in the back and on the front, so it's bolted in the front with 4 bolts. These you're going to put, double nut them and then drive them in the engine all the way by, see how I'm tightening it here. Then you could screw it into the engine all the way. It's a trick that you guys should know. So see how it's spinning in there right now? No problem, right? Then take the nuts off. Do the same for the next one. That way you have plenty in there. And then I'm just going to bolt it up. You know me, I don't go crazy with when I'm just testing something. I just put regular nuts on it. I don't go for lock washers and all that because I'm usually having to fiddle and move things and whatever, because I'm always showing you guys what I'm doing. So I kind of make it easier on myself. So I put the CDI that came with the engine on. These are just the stock ones. They're really great. I have the high performance ones too. But this is what came with it, so I'm just sticking it on there. Works fine. Next we'll cable up the clutch. Again, the bike's already been running, so everything's on it, so this isn't going to be a full assembly video. This is just a swap, okay? So get the cable on, find the adjustment point, tighten it up, coil the string up. It's perfect. It's going to work perfect right out of the gate. I already know it. I can feel it. And then next, we're going to get our exhaust on. You can see it has this crush ring. I may have put it on backwards there, so just letting you know. So again, this exhaust tightens up. I think somebody mentioned that there's a type of exhaust that might go into place of that. But anyway, it's great. It's fine. We're just getting everything started. Let's get our chain on here. We're going to spin it on. Again, this already had an engine on it, so it's already ready. All I'm doing is swapping it out. So everything should fit. There you go. We'll get that on there. Boom. So we got carburetor, we got exhaust, we got our clutch mechanism, our chain's connected, we got our bucking bar in there. I'm just double checking it. Tighten everything down. Pretty close. Yep. One final inspection. I think it's ready to roll. I already had gas in the tank, so we're good with that. Let's fire it up. All right, so I've choked the carburetor, just giving it one look over. I'll start pedaling down the road. That way we start running some gas through the engine. It has a 40-1 mix, so yeah. Get gas through it, popping it. Pop the clutch a few times. By the time I get down there, I've done it a handful of times, and I have to turn around and go back and do it again. I probably popped my clutch there, or my choke, and so I gotta reset it, try again. Yeah, it's a pretty good road to get engine started on because it kind of forces me to look at some things. And you can hear right here, that's a positive sound from the engine. That means it's starting to turn over. Running gas. So I mean, this is a very short distance, so hardly any fuel has been run through the engine at this point. It's usually right after this one that then they fire off. We'll turn around, do a double check on everything just to make sure wire connections are all there. Make sure that, yeah, so check my wire connections, make sure my carburetor's good, make sure my plug is on, cap is on there all the way. All right, here we go for our second try. We're just trying to get fuel through the engine. You got to get enough fuel through the engine so then it starts doing its thing. That was positive, it legit fired off. Let's go, turn around, do it again. Now this is usually the point where it'll start to fire off. Let's see. Yep, come on now. Woohoo! This is the moment, right? And this is the moment it usually ends up four-stroking and being crazy, but this one is really smooth. Like, I'm surprised, all right? So I'm keeping the throttle on it because, again, new engine, it's gonna wanna die and it's gonna wanna run rough. But to be honest with you, this one ran pretty smooth the whole way. I rode it all the way to the end. Yep, you can hear it. New engines, they sound rough and starting to smooth out. Again, since this video was shot, I've been riding it quite a bit and it just keeps getting better and better. Yep. So this is a half-mile stretch of road and I just kind of eased it. It wanted to, the throttle response was good and it really wanted to cruise about that 20 mile an hour range, where most of them 16 to 18 is what I kind of feel like an engine. So this has a little more oomph to it. I'm pretty excited about it. I love that it's two-piece top end. So now we can start performance modding it, making sure the squish gap is right on, like all the fine tuning things that we need to do to it. Now people can do that. So this is a good road because it has some slight hills, has some nice curves. You can really test an engine, you know, especially a new engine, kind of get the feel for everything in about half-mile stretch. So this is a curve that we lean into, and then it goes down enough, and this is where kind of let off the throttle usually and just let it coast down, kind of give the engine a break a little bit. And when we hit the bottom of it, and the throttle up again. Yeah, these are great. It really did well. I've usually have four-stroking and stuff, but some of that can be attributed to I had this carburetor already dialed in. But again, this has a reed valve in it, and it performed really well. Just, it's great. Okay, so this is the end of the road. That was a total success. So within about 85 yards, I was able to ride there and back and get it to turn over. And then it kicked on and I was able to get it started and ride all the way to the end. So a half-mile ride on its very first little maiden voyage, we'll call it, right? Now, since then, I have been breaking it in and riding it up and down the road and just kind of giving it that throttle. If you go to some of the older videos on breaking an engine in, you'll see that, you know, I give it throttle. And this is stuff I learned from the old timers in here that said, yeah, just, you know, be easy on it and, you know, give it little throttle, vary the RPMs. And so that's really what I've been doing, and run a couple tanks through it and don't be too much in a hurry on how it performs. I'll say it's really strong out of the gate. It really is. I have really good feeling about these. Like, it runs really great. I think they nailed it. And a lot of it is the design factor of it is really like a lot of the other engines that are the, you know, tried and true. principles in engine building, and so they've just adapted that to this, and so I think we got a winner on our hands. So what I'm going to do from here on out, as we do the adjustments, I'm going to be totally transparent in how it's performing, so you won't have any questions on is a good engine or not. I'm going to be totally transparent with you, just like I have been. That was the actual footage of me starting it for the first time, swapping it out. All that was within the same day, one event after the other. And so I'm going to continue doing that and just be totally transparent on its performance. And I think as a community, we can help each other on bringing it to the next level. What can we do to really get it fine-tuned and performing at its peak? So there will be links below. Check them out. You can check out all the specs online and on the website. And I'm excited for you to get yours, because as a community, let's talk about 100cc engines and let's make them the best they can be. Till next time, let's roll.